What do you think? How often do you use the numbers? Whether you use them in your speech or hear them from the environment. It's kind of tricky question, but still. Earlier this year, Brian Butterworth decided to figure out how many numbers the average person encounters in a day. He decided to conduct such an experiment and picked the Sunday for this experiment, because he works at a university where he works with numbers all the time. So he picked the Sunday. He went about his day as usual, but kept track of how frequently he saw or hear the number, like 405, the symbol or word 405. He flicked through the newspaper, listened to the radio, and popped out a bit of shopping. And the result was kind of shocking and unpredictable. He experienced about 1,000 numbers in an hour. It's awful lots of numbers. Butterworth is one of the researchers who believes that human brain can be thought of having a sense of numbers, and like our evolutionary ancestors, we are neurologically hardwired to perceive all sorts of opportunities in the environment, whether it serves for picking the bush with small fruits or recognizing when the predators and a horizon become much more. Indeed, the most human, even from the early age, have an ability to distinguish among different quantities of things. It's so obvious that this frequency is taken for granted. Indeed, the most humans, even from the early age, have an ability to quickly and accurately distinguish among different quantities of things in our environment, and it's obviously that this frequency is taken for granted. This ability is known as the numerosity perception. It differs from the counting process and is present in infants long before they learn the words and the symbols of the numbers. Moreover, it's not human specifically. The experiments with monkeys, crows, fish, and even bees indicate that numerosity perception, at least for a relatively small quantity, is widely distributed among the animal kingdom. How numerosity perception works neurologically and how it is important in the human's condition, it's kind of hard question to answer. Some scientists propose that this so-called sense of numbers is just an offshoot of more general perception of magnitude, the ability to say roughly how something big is in the relation to something else. Others argue that this numerosity perception is kind of independent phenomenon. Something give a special meaning to 405 as decreased quantities. Thanks to the growing interest in the subject combined with the advances in experimental and technical methods for studying the brain data are tricking in to support this evidence and occasionally confuse them. The results are far from being a clear picture and disagreements still abound, but for Butterworth and others like him, multiple threads of evidence are now coming together to support numerosity and our brain encoding of it as a fundamental part of how we experience the world.